There's something nobody tells you when you turn 60. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's actually waiting, waiting for the right fuel, waiting for the specific compounds that signal your cells to repair, your inflammation to cool down, and your brain to stay sharp. And what if I told you that some of the most powerful substances ever studied for human longevity aren't locked inside a pharmaceutical lab? They're sitting in the produce section of your local grocery store, quietly waiting to be noticed? If you've ever wondered why some people reach their 80s and 90s looking vibrant, moving freely, and thinking clearly while others seem to age rapidly after 60, this video is going to change how you think about food forever. Stay right here, because what comes next isn't a list, it's a revelation. Before we go any further, if you're serious about living longer and feeling stronger, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. What we share here week after week could genuinely add years to your life. Let's start by dismantling a myth. Most people believe aging is inevitable in its most brutal form, that stiff joints, foggy memory, and weakened immunity are just the price of getting older. But decades of research from the world's longest-lived populations, the Blue Zones, the Okinawans, the Sardinians, reveal something striking. The difference between those who decline and those who thrive often comes down to daily habits, and at the center of those habits is food, specific food. Not superfoods in the marketing sense, but real, whole, ancient fruits that humans have been consuming for thousands of years. Fruits that contain compounds scientists are only beginning to fully understand. Here's what makes this conversation different. We're not going to talk about vitamins in a generic sense. We're going to talk about specific bioactive molecules, anthocyanins, pterostilbene, L-glutamins, oleic acid, bromelain, and what they actually do inside the body of someone over 60. Because after 60, your body's chemistry changes. Your inflammatory response becomes less regulated. Your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every cell, become less efficient. Your gut microbiome, which controls far more than digestion, starts to lose diversity. These are measurable, documented changes, and certain fruits directly address them at a cellular level. Fruit number one is one that almost everyone has heard of, but almost no one eats in meaningful quantities. And the science behind it is so extraordinary, it deserves far more attention than it gets. Blueberries. But not for the reasons you think. Yes, blueberries are high in antioxidants. You've heard that. But here's what you probably haven't heard. A landmark study published in the Annals of Neurology tracked thousands of women over decades and found that those who consume blueberries at least twice per week experience significantly slower rates of cognitive aging, equivalent to keeping their brains up to 2.5 years younger. 2.5 years from a fruit you can buy frozen for a few dollars a bag. The compound responsible is called pterostilbene, a close cousin of resveratrol but with dramatically superior bioavailability, meaning your body actually absorbs and uses it. Pterostilbene crosses the blood-brain barrier and has been shown in multiple studies to reduce oxidative stress in brain tissue, improve memory signaling between neurons, and, this is where it gets fascinating, actually activate genes associated with longevity. These are sometimes called SIRT genes, or sirtuins, and they're the same genes that caloric restriction diets try to activate. Blueberries can help turn them on. For people over 60, there's another dimension. Blueberries contain compounds that reduce arterial stiffness. As we age, our blood vessels lose elasticity, which forces the heart to work harder and increases the risk of hypertension. A 2019 study out of King's College London found that a daily serving of blueberries over 8 weeks improved arterial function in a way comparable to some blood pressure medications without the side effects. Eat them frozen, fresh, blended into a smoothie. The form matters less than the consistency. The people who benefit most are the ones who make this a daily ritual, not an occasional treat. The second fruit on this list is one that most people in the Western world have only started eating in the last decade or so. Ancient cultures, Persian, Egyptian, Ayurvedic, used it medicinally for thousands of years, and modern science is now validating everything they knew. Pomegranate. What makes pomegranate extraordinary isn't just its antioxidant capacity, which is among the highest of any food ever measured. It's a specific transformation that happens in certain people's bodies when they consume pomegranate. Inside the gut, bacteria break down L-glutanins, compounds found abundantly in pomegranate, into a molecule called urolithin A. And urolithin A does something remarkable. It triggers a process called mitophagy. That's the cellular cleanup of damaged mitochondria. Think of it this way. As you age, your cells accumulate dysfunctional mitochondria, little broken power plants that generate energy inefficiently and produce toxic byproducts. Urolithin A essentially signals the body to remove and recycle these damaged mitochondria, restoring cellular energy production. This is being actively studied as one of the most promising mechanisms for combating age-related muscle loss, fatigue, and even some forms of cognitive decline. Here's the catch. Not everyone's gut microbiome can produce urolithin A from pomegranate. About 40% of people A from pomegranate. About 40% of people are what researchers call non-producers. If you've never paid much attention to your gut health, you may fall into this category. But the good news is that consistent pomegranate consumption, alongside fermented foods and dietary fiber, can help shift the gut microbiome toward a more productive state over time. Drink the juice, pure, no sugar added, or eat the seeds. And be patient. The benefits of pomegranate are cumulative, building quietly in the background like compound interest. We're halfway through the list, and I want to pause for a moment because something important needs to be said. The reason most health advice doesn't work for people over 60 is that it treats the aging body the same as a younger one. But the nutritional needs after 60 are profoundly different. Absorption decreases, inflammation increases, the microbiome shifts. What we're talking about today isn't generic healthy eating. It's targeted nutritional strategy for a specific phase of life. If that matters to you, share this video with someone you care about. One share could genuinely change someone's trajectory. Now, fruit number 3. And this one is going to surprise you because many people don't even think of it as a fruit at all. Avocado. Botanically, it is absolutely a fruit. And for people over 60, it may be the single most strategically valuable food you can add to your diet. Here's why. After 60, fat metabolism changes significantly. The body becomes less efficient at absorbing fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, all of which are critical for bone density, immune function, and cardiovascular health. Avocado contains a unique blend of monounsaturated fats, primarily oleic acid, that dramatically improve the absorption of these fat-soluble nutrients from other foods you eat alongside it. A study from Ohio State University found that eating avocado with salsa or salad increased carotenoid absorption, including lycopene and beta-carotene, by 200 to 400%. This means avocado doesn't just nourish you on its own. It unlocks the nutritional value of everything around it. Beyond that, avocado is one of the richest dietary sources of potassium, containing more than a banana, which is essential for maintaining healthy blood pressure and preventing the muscle cramps that plague so many people in their 60s and beyond. It's also rich in lutein, a compound strongly associated with protection against macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in older adults. The fiber in avocado is particularly valuable. It feeds bifidobacterium, one of the beneficial bacterial species most likely to decline with age, helping maintain the gut diversity that controls inflammation, immunity, and even mood. Half an avocado a day is not an indulgence. For someone over 60, it's infrastructure. Fruit number 4 is intensely underestimated. You've probably seen it at the grocery store, maybe picked it up, maybe put it back down because you weren't sure what to do with it. That ends today. Papaya. Papaya contains an enzyme called papain that is essentially a biological miracle for the aging digestive system. As we get older, our production of digestive enzymes declines, sometimes dramatically. This means that even if you're eating nutrient-dense food, your body may not be breaking it down efficiently enough to absorb what it needs. Papain directly supplements this declining enzyme activity, improving protein digestion and nutrient extraction in a way that almost no other food can match. But that's just the beginning. Papaya is one of the richest sources of lycopene in the fruit world, and lycopene has been studied extensively for its role in reducing the risk of certain cancers, particularly prostate cancer, which becomes a significant concern for men after 60. The lycopene in papaya is also more bioavailable than that found in tomatoes, because of the specific way it's packaged within the fruit's cellular structure. Papaya also contains choline, a nutrient that most people have never heard of, but that is essential for maintaining the integrity of cell membranes, supporting liver function, and producing acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most closely associated with memory and learning. Choline deficiency has been linked to cognitive decline, and most Americans, particularly older adults, are significantly deficient in it. Eat papaya with a squeeze of fresh lime. The acidity enhances lycopene absorption. Small detail, big difference. And now we arrive at fruit number 5, the one that, of everything on this list, has perhaps the most dramatic and least talked about effect on what researchers now call the hallmarks of aging. It's humble, it's inexpensive, and it's been hiding in plain sight. The fig, fresh or dried, figs are extraordinary for people over 60, and here's the specific reason. They are one of the most concentrated dietary sources of polyphenols that directly modulate the gut-brain axis. This bidirectional communication system between your digestive tract and your brain controls inflammation levels throughout the entire body, influences mood and anxiety, affects sleep quality, and regulates immune response. Figs are also uniquely rich in calcium, more than almost any other fruit, making them a critical tool for maintaining bone density at a stage of life when fractures become life-altering events. A single cup of dried figs contains over 240 milligrams of calcium alongside magnesium and vitamin K, which work in concert to direct calcium into bone tissue rather than arterial walls. There's something else about figs that rarely gets discussed. They contain a compound called phycin, a proteolytic enzyme similar to papain, that has demonstrated anti-inflammatory properties in preliminary research. Chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging, is now considered one of the primary drivers of nearly every age-related disease, from Alzheimer's to cardiovascular disease to arthritis. Foods that actively reduce this background inflammation are among the most powerful longevity tools we have. Eat figs in the morning. Their natural sugars provide a clean, slow-burning energy that doesn't spike insulin the way processed foods do, and their fiber ensures that energy release is steady and sustained throughout the day. Now let's talk about something most longevity content conveniently skips: the dose and the pattern. Eating any of these fruits once in a while is essentially decorative. The research behind every single fruit on this list reflects consistent, regular consumption over weeks, months, and years. Longevity isn't built in dramatic gestures. It's built in small, deliberate choices made daily until they become invisible, until they become simply who you are and how you live. The people who reach 90 in good health aren't the ones who did a juice cleanse in their 60s. They're the ones who, every morning for 30 years, put blueberries in their yogurt. They're the ones who chose papaya over a pastry, not because they were disciplined in a punishing way, but because at some point, the choice became easy, because they understood what was at stake. And here's the truth that nobody in the wellness industry wants to say out loud. You do not need supplements, protocols, biohacking devices, or expensive interventions. The most powerful longevity medicine ever studied grows from the ground. It has seeds and skin and flavor. It has been consumed by the longest-lived humans in history, and it costs less per serving than a cup of coffee. Your body after 60 is not declining. It's becoming more selective. It's asking more specifically for what it needs. These 5 fruits are part of the answer. Not the whole answer, but a real, substantive, scientifically grounded part of it. If you've made it to the end of this video, you're already the kind of person who takes their health seriously. And that matters more than any fruit on this list. The mindset that brought you here is the same one that will carry you forward. Do one thing right now. Pick one fruit from this list that you don't currently eat and commit to eating it every day for 2 weeks. Not a month, not a year, just 2 weeks. Notice what changes. Notice how you feel. Let your own body be the evidence. Subscribe, leave a comment below telling us which fruit you're starting with, and share this video with someone over 60 who deserves to know this information. Every share is an act of genuine care. We'll see you in the next one.